Hi, welcome to this Access to the Arts. I'm Eric Marsh. Thank you very much for joining us on this show. This is going to be a lot of fun for me. It is really a chance for me to meet people that I don't know a lot about and work that I know absolutely nothing about. So that's always good. Later on in the show, we're going to have a conversation with some artists who were at Potterypalooza. We went to this year's event, set up a makeshift studio on the lawn of Richmond High School, and got some information about pottery. But we are going to start with a name that I have heard, but I have never had a chance to meet until today, Terri Logan. Terri, thank you very much for gracing our studio. I appreciate it.
A pleasure, Eric. Thank you.
I have heard your name for a number of years. I've had people talk about your work. Real quickly, for those who don't know you, I may be the only one in town that doesn't, but a little bit of your background.
Well, let's see. I'll try to keep this short. I have loved art all my life, and when I entered college, I also found a love for psychology. So I had a double major in art and psychology, and I was a BFA sculpture major graduate and psych graduate. And for almost 20 years, I practiced as a psychotherapist, and then I took a jewelry class at a little local art community and decided I was going to make jewelry because it's small sculpture to me. So very manageable. So fast forward 30-some years, and here I am.
You have had a chance to do work in and have your work in a number of different galleries. Talk about what that was like as that art progressed for you.
Well, that was very exciting. I remember the very first show I did. I have friends who tease me about to this day. I overslept. And I was supposed to be opening my booth and showing it to sell to these galleries. And I overslept because I couldn't fall asleep. I was so nervous the night before. But very exhilarating, very exciting. You know, you go in, an artist, I think, always balances a certain amount of confidence and insecurity. You're always doubting yourself, but at the same time believing in yourself, and that paradox creates, I think, a wonderful kind of tension that often you get to express through your work. And so I was very nervous, but it was received very well, and I ended up doing shows and having galleries all across the nation, and I think in total over the years, about 10 international.
We are going to meet a couple of young ladies who you are kind of helping along. Talk a little bit about what this time is like for you when you're starting to mentor and work with some other young people.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It's exciting because there's so much that I've seen and done, which isn't to brag. It's just over 30 years. You do a lot, and they bring a fresh voice and a fresh air and ways of looking at things. And it's funny because, and I'm sure this is this way in multiple avenues, there's so much that stays the same, but there's so much that changes. And they bring this new voice with the new methods and the new machines and the new things to do and bend metal and make it in ways that I hadn't conceived of. So it's very invigorating for me and has inspired me to in my creations that I'm making now. So what happened was, along the way, I was an adjunct tutor for Ball State and for Indiana University, and have met multiple young metalsmiths and mentored several of them, or they've done an internship with me. And one of the ladies you're going to meet is Bailey, and I met her through that process. The other is Allie, and she and I have known each other for a long time. And I just along the way in helping them decided that we need to do something together because I'm as I said, my arc has become and gone. I'm still making jewelry, I still love it,
Sure.
but I find a new passion in investing in them and helping them because they're carrying on a tradition that I was lucky enough to be a part of, and they get to carry that on. It's very special to me. Does that answer your question?
That answers my question.
Okay.
We're going to take a very short break. We're going to be back. We're going to meet Allie and Bailey and find out what these three ladies are going to be doing together as we continue with Access on the Arts on WETV Channel 20.
With local BTV, it's easier than ever to view all that WCTV offers.
I can now stream local government meetings direct to my TV.
Now I can watch local programming right from my phone.
I can easily view recorded and live events on my computer.
With a few clicks on any device, you're ready to view WGTV Channel 11, WETV Channel 20, and WCTV Channel 21. With local BTV, you're able to stay entertained and informed.
Hi, I'm Monica Koschlein, Executive Director of your Richmond Symphony Orchestra. It is an honor for the RSO to be an integral part of the arts makeup of Richmond and enhance the quality of life of the region. The RSO has been fortunate to exist in a community that has been generous in supporting our efforts for 65 consecutive seasons. Through the pandemic, we have continued to expand our programming. The RSO thanks you for your continued patronage and support.
Welcome back to Access to the Arts. I'm Eric Marsh. Thank you very much for joining us on this program. I have Terri Logan with me. We are now joined by Allie Rivera and Bailey Mosey-Hoffman. Got it all in?
You did.
All
you
right.
did. Thank you.
Ladies, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Give us a little bit of your background, Allie. Tell us how you met this lady and how you got into the work that you're doing.
Well, I've known Terri for years, and my great uncle was a goldsmith here in town, and I've always been intrigued with fire and metal. And when I went to IU Bloomington, I graduated in '96 from there, focusing on metalwork, and then put it on the shelf for 25 years, and just started 2 years ago back at it, and it's been amazing.
Bailey, you're not going to tell me you put something on the shelf for 25 or 30 years and then came back to it. You can't tell me that. How did you get involved in this?
Luckily not at this point, but I was lucky enough to take a class in high school at Richmond High School. So there I found that I really liked the metalsmithing class, and I knew I was going to go to Ball State, and they had a really good metalsmithing program, so I just kind of decided to go through that program and graduated in 2015. And I interned with Terri in 2014.
Yeah.
2013, 14, somewhere in there.
So, it's only a year.
Right, it was before I graduated because it counted for class credit. But it was just a wonderful experience, and my dad knew her, and she's known our family. We kind of knew each other back then that way, but I had never met her. So it worked out perfect when I needed an internship, and my dad was like, I know a lady. So it's been great since then. Yeah.
The reason that you all are here all together is what? Who gets to break this news?
I will.
Okay.
Because it was my idea in that, and as I told you previously, that I saw this continuum going on, that 3 generations of metalsmiths in this one community, and I thought, this is very special. And so I had one of those brainstorms. I thought, we should do something together, and then that kept percolating, and we finally, I contacted them, and we decided we'd do a show.
All right.
And it would be the 3 of us, and so our official name is Art Times 3.
Art Times 3.
Art Times 3.
Art Times
You've got a
3.
show coming up, the first of maybe many.
first of
We have to
many.
stand by.
Yeah. Yes.
November 17th. Talk a little bit about where and why there.
Well, I think it was important for us to find a space that we felt comfortable in, and we wanted it to be a community event that people maybe have never been to before that we could support as well. And we found a really great spot, and we just wanted a place to offer a really unique experience for people to come and look at our work and hopefully fall in love and take some home.
Yeah.
That's the important part, isn't it?
We hope for that.
Yeah.
So tell them where this is going to be held, Bailey.
Oh, I was hoping you'd ask that.
Come on, I got to come back down this way. It's not time.
It's attached to Paint the Town. It's got, is that just the other building attached to it? Or?
The address is 411
North
411 North Elm.
North
Elm-
8th. North 8th. But it's the Elm Street
I thought
entrance.
that, oh, okay.
Yeah. She don't know where
See,
we're going.
this is why you asked that.
411 North 8th
8th.
Street, and Elm Street goes off, the actual entrance into our
Yeah.
show is on Elm Street, which is just off of 8.
Okay. This is going to be November 17th, 4 to 7 p.m. Is there wine? Is there cheese? Is there talk about the show?
Yeah, some
Oh,
champagne.
there is?
There'll be treats.
I'll be there.
It's free.
There are treats, it's free, however, and you will be seeing information regarding this. We would appreciate you reserving a free ticket, so we have an ID account.
We've got an Eventbrite's
Yeah.
link.
Okay.
And we will each have our wares out and be showing them, and they can be bought and carried out and enjoyed that very day. And hopefully even people who are not necessarily into jewelry will come and see us, just so they see what this community offers.
Okay. How do you feel about the three? Bailey, talk about, for you, what this is like and what this has been like.
Super exciting to start. I mean, it's been weird. I just turned 30 this year, and I've been making jewelry for a while, and just came to knowing her, and the Village Forager actually brought her and I closer, which is an awesome store in Centerville. So we just kind of kept making jewelry.
I feel like I've known him all my life.
Yeah.
It's crazy that makers have this. We're a lot of it's cool. I mean, I'm wearing Terry's first piece that's from the 90s. I'm wearing one of Bailey's pieces, and it's just so cool because we're not in competition. We all adore each other's work, and we adore each other's personalities, I think. So this is really fun and exciting for both of us, and for Terri, I think, too.
Okay.
I agree.
Yeah.
We're down to our last minute, so I have to ask a weird question. You're wearing she's wearing some of your pieces. Is there a metal or a style that fits you? And each one of you, I'm asking that same question.
Sure.
Talk
and
a little bit about that
Well,
style.
that's what I said to you earlier. We each have a shared aesthetic. There are many aspects to the metal that we have in common, but we each have an individual voice. And in my case, I use a lot of natural found objects, rocks. In Allie's case, she does some fascinating, fabulous formal designs with her work. And Bailey has this wonderful whimsical side to her that she brings to her work. I'm very sculptural. I think you're very sculptural. Each of us are very sculptural, and that's probably the aesthetic we share. But then it goes off into an individual voice.
You all really seem to enjoy your time together. Just kind of
we
watching.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes.
They're like daughters to me.
Yeah, we looked up to you forever,
Yes.
and then
She's our inspiration for a lot of this too. So this is like a bucket list check for us. Well, for me, and I'm sure for Bailey
me,
too.
yes, for sure.
We are
Yeah.
looking forward to this. Our time's 3, November 17th. We'll put up the information on the screen. Go to Eventbrite, register. I'm going to Eventbrite. I'm going to register. Hopefully I can actually be there. I haven't looked at my
Oh, I
social
hope so.
calendar, but
Yeah,
I
we hope
really do want to
so.
be there. Ladies,
Yeah.
thank you very
you.
much. Terri Logan, Rivera, and Bailey Mosey-Hoffman.
Oh, well
Thank
done.
you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you all letting me do this with you.
Thank you.
We'll be back with more Access to the Arts in just a moment.
Hello, I'm John Foss, Executive Director of Richmond Civic Theater. Founded in 1941, RCT is the premier live theater organization in Richmond, Indiana. Our productions are performed and produced locally just for you. Auditions are announced several times throughout the season, and we are always looking for new volunteers on and off stage. For more information about how you can get involved, visit our website at gorct.org and follow us on Facebook.
Hi, I'm Allison Zeidel from the Stam Koschlein Family Foundation. We are proud to support Wayne County organizations that are making life better for the youth of our community. Each year, we grant over $250,000 to roughly 30 groups and organizations. We also bring nonprofit leaders together to learn from each other and collaborate. We love building trust and meaningful partnerships. To learn more about how Stam Koschlein Family Foundation is impacting the community, we invite you to visit our website at stamkoschlein.org or follow us on Facebook.
Welcome back to Access to the Arts. We're going to go outside now and take a look at some of the conversations that we had at Potterypalooza. We've taken this one out of the studio and we're on the lawn of Richmond High School. Potterypalooza is going on today, and we took this opportunity to kind of want to talk to some of the artists that are working and showing their work today here at Potterypalooza, an annual event that is for the Richmond Art Museum. I've got Amy Dillon from Preble Clayworks with me. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's a beautiful day. I'm happy to be here.
Glad to talk to you. Amy, first of all, we were talking before we started about how you even got started in clay, and you got started early.
That's right. I was fortunate to attend an elementary school where the art teacher had a kiln, so I got my hands in clay from the time I was about 5 years old. Continued in the arts all through middle school and high school, and then went on to college at Ohio University in Athens to get a degree in fine art ceramics.
Is that what you have been doing the entire time since you've gotten out of college, or has this kind of been a sideline?
Yeah, I've been easing into entrepreneurship for many years, and after college I worked part-time at different kinds of jobs, including substitute teaching and things that weren't even related to the arts.
Okay.
But now I work full-time as a professional ceramic artist.
When did you get into it for full-time? When did you just chuck everything and go, I'm in this?
Just a few months ago, actually, I took the dive. So I'm ready, and I have a lot of goals I'm working towards in the coming year, and I'm excited to get that all going.
Talk a little bit about the kind of work you do, because as I walk around this, everybody does something different. You said that there's a little nostalgia in your work.
Right, yeah. I do make a lot of jewelry because I love the idea of people being able to wear and keep close to them the item that I made. It brings a lot of joy to know that somebody likes my piece enough to want to make it part of their life. And a lot of the pots that I make also reference back to kind of historical methods, colonial potters brought to the United States, and I make molds of a lot of antique bottles, and a lot of the bottles came from my husband's grandmother, who previously worked in a pharmacy in the 1940s, so she had a lot of really neat bottles, and so we're paying homage to her. And so I like to combine old methods with new and give these old things new life.
Talk about some of the newer methods and how you keep up with what you're doing and how you have found some inspiration in your work.
Yeah, I use a lot of different techniques. Mostly I work with slip casting, which is liquid clay, and using molds, and it's a craft that was popular in the 70s and 80s, and everybody says, oh, my grandma used to do that, but it's not your grandma's pottery anymore. It's updated and fresh looks and contemporary ideas, and it's a lot of fun to try different things. That's what I love about ceramics so much, is it's such a versatile medium. You're never going to get bored, and there are endless possibilities with what you can do. And so I'm not one of those folks that wants to make the same thing over and over. I'm always trying something new, and it's a lot of fun.
We talked about your jewelry a little bit. Talk about the kinds of jewelry that you made. You're wearing a necklace. Is that something that you made?
Earrings, pendants. I have some rings that I made, and earrings are one of my best sellers.
Talk about how folks can find you. You've just kind of jumped into this entrepreneurship thing where you're doing this full time.
Right.
Do you have a storefront? Are you just showing at shows like Potterypalooza?
Yes, I'm mostly selling locally. I'm not doing a lot of online sales yet, but that's something I'm working towards in the coming year. I have a couple local consignment shops around the Dayton and Eaton area. where I'm selling my work, and also on social media, Pebble Clay Works. Facebook is probably my main place where I am posting new information and getting people talking about ceramics, and that's where you can find all of our upcoming events and where we'll be next.
Where you've been working through this, you said you've gotten some support from your family. Your mother's an artist. What kind of work does she do?
Yeah, well, she was always working in clay, and so I'm very fortunate that from a young age, my mom especially was fostering that in me, and my parents both were incredibly supportive. You know, a lot of people might be shocked when their child tells them they're going to go to art school, because you know, it's hard to be an artist and make a living. So I'm lucky that my parents were so supportive and continue to be, and I look forward to seeing them here later today.
All right. On Facebook, Pebble Clay Works, Amy Dillon. Thanks for being here. Appreciate the time today.
Thank you. It was fun. Have a great day.
You too. Welcome back to Access to the Arts. We continue to spend time on the lawn at Richmond High School where Potterypalooza is going on. We've got Ben Clark, a name that a number of people know, but for those of you who don't know him, haven't had a chance to meet him, give us a little bit of your background.
So I grew up here in Richmond, and I took almost no art here at Richmond High School. That didn't hit me till much later, and when I was in college, I got caught up with a pottery class and thought it was the greatest thing ever, and I ended up majoring in creative writing, but I did pottery all the way through and was even teaching the classes when I was a senior there, and went to grad school for it, and then came back and did a professional apprenticeship with Scott Schaefer here in Centerville, and he taught me the business side, and I learned so much from him. I owe him a lot, and so at that point I moved to Cincinnati and it kind of took off from there. But
talk a little bit about how you create, what your inspirations are, what you use.
So I generally use high fire stoneware clay, and what got me was when you're working on the wheel and you take a piece of clay and you turn it into something, when it's spinning on the wheel, you only have to make contact with the clay in one spot, and your pressure makes it move symmetrically. And that, when you do it for the first time, it just blows your mind, you know? And so I got so fixated on that sense, that feeling, that I just wanted everyone to have that, right? And so I wanted to teach everybody. So teaching is what really pushed me to do it all the time.
Okay.
And then my work developed to where a lot of it's based on that movement of the wheel. And if you look at a potter working on the wheel, they touch the clay, and your fingers and different tools will make the same marks that you see in the earth when wind has worn the side of a rock for 1,000,000 years, you know, and water has eroded a section of the earth, or a dry mud puddle. And so as I started to spot that, I thought, oh my gosh, you know, in seconds we're making the same patterns, you know, that the earth from the rotation and weather is doing. And so then my work drove that direction. And so that's what it's kind of based on, is that relationship. Spinning of the wheel, spinning of the earth.
Talk about the difference between being an artist and the business side of running.
So my education director just came to me, he was like, hey, I signed you up to do a gallery show. I was like, what? You know, and he said, yeah, you haven't made work in 2 years. You've been doing the business side. So I need you to get in there and make some sculpture. And so it's that kind of thing. The business takes over because I'm a people person, and I just like the people interaction side of it. And so I sometimes forget the, you know, making my own stuff, my own time side. But when I get in there, everything goes away and it's just the work. So it needs to have that balance, but the business, we have a 50,000 square foot building now. So this is the biggest clay education center in the United States. Like it's insane. And so every day at work, there's something new to tackle, and it's a lot of fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
Talk about where people can find you, find your work, how they can connect.
So if you even Google clay in Cincinnati, we come up first. And so Queen City Clay, you go into Norwood, which is right in the middle of the Cincinnati 275 loop. And I've got work there on display all the time. And you can come in, I'll take you on a tour, and we'll get you into a one-day class or just a nice wheel experience. And then I've got 50 staff members that are all potters and sculptors, and so they all have work around the shop, and then we've got 250 students every 8 weeks that are coming through.
Oh my.
And so there's just always something going on. So yeah, you come find me, I'll show you a little bit of my work if I've got it at that point, and but then I'll highlight the rest of the people there.
You mentioned gallery show.
Yeah.
When is it?
So it's up right now, and it'll be up for another month, and it's in our shop in Norwood, and it's some of my newer sculptures and some larger functional work, and I was excited he forced me to do it because it was good to get back in the studio and actually make some stuff.
Cool. Anything I haven't asked you that you want people to know about your work or your business?
If you are unfamiliar with just going out and looking at art and understanding art and checking out galleries, a show like this that Lance and everybody put on is one of those things where it's your first step into art, right? Pottery's so good at that because it draws that line. It could be used, but at the same time, it's something beautiful that you look at that might make your morning better. And so all of us here, the work tries to do that, tries to make a connection between the art world and the functional world, and try and, you know, remind you of that every single day. So this is your gateway drug for the art world right here. Just come here and check the pottery out.
Marvelous. Ben Clark, Queen City Clay, appreciate the time.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys being here.
Thanks for watching this month's Access to the Arts. As we head out, we'll show you some things that you can do to access the arts in the area. Thanks for watching. As always, I wish you well.